So our next speaker will be talking about an entirely different topic, which is, Nutrizen, and it is about managing, health and diabetes for Asians. So please welcome Shivansh Gupta. Shivansh, can you please see if you can share your screen?
Yeah. May I begin, ma'am?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. At least 1 in every 10 individuals will suffer from this issue of diabetes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shivansh Gupta, and I'm an 8th grader from the Heritage School in India. And I have a sad truth to share with you all. Is the very fact that diabetes has become a proning issue today, and at least some of our loved ones by the next decade will suffer from this issue. But as an 8th grader, I could not bear to see my own grandparents suffer from the issue from diabetes and get consumed by it. And that is exactly why I went on to creating Nutrizen, the AI doctor. Well, but before we go on to this journey of ups and downs of understanding what Nutrizen is and why did I create this AI and what impact did it have on my environment and my society, I need to help you understand what exactly the problem was. Why diabetes and why exactly is it a necessary issue to solve? Well, diabetes has become one of the most chronic issues and is in fact the top 10 chronic issues around the globe. But the worst part is that South Asians like myself, in fact, my own grandparents are 6 times more likely to get this issue of diabetes than any other individual. And knowing that AI is one of the main issues that we can use to solve this issue, the reason why we choose to use AI over doctors themselves is the fact that even our treatments, in fact, 40% of them specifically have started to fail against the issue of diabetes. And this just tells us to question that if we can even trust our own doctors and shows that if diabetes is an incurable disease, why not prevent it before it actually comes to ourselves? And this is exactly why I chose Nutrizen as an AI to help me create a solution for this issue of diabetes. But before I know what Nutrizen is, and before I tell you what Nutrizen came to be and how did it actually become an AI and the features of Nutrizen itself, as a researcher and as an AIClub student, I myself need to get some data set to be able to create this AI itself. And that is exactly why, as Nisha ma'am shared today, we have public shared data sets. So I created my own. I sent out a Google Form survey to the elderly people in my community and my society that I know. And I asked them to fill a form about their own experience with diabetes, whether they had it or not. And I used this to create my AI. But what features that Nutrizen have and what does it exactly do are listed over here. Well, in simple terms, Nutrizen is an AI created by the AIClub model on the PyXDA website from the AI Navigator. But it's much more than what an AI simply does. In fact, it's a web application, specifically a dynamic one based on Node.js and Express.js. But in layman's terms, it is basically a website based on JavaScript that can help you diagnose diabetes yourself, generate a health report with solutions that you can download yourself. And if you're a person who still does not trust an AI after all these presentations, then you can still get a nearby doctors near you and you can diagnose yourself with diabetes with them. Now, enough talk about what Nutrizen is and its features. Let's actually see a demo of Nutrizen working live. So this here is Nutrizen, the homepage, and the AI doctor itself. And I'm currently running it on my own local server at my own computer. But later when it is uploaded on the website, you'll be able to access it yourself and diagnose and check if you have diabetes. But this is the homepage, and it shows you basically what exactly is the motive, the goal, and why exactly was Nutrizen created, what impacts did it have, and what is the goal and the motive of Nutrizen itself. But here is the AI where all the work happens and where we help you know that if you have diabetes and what steps there you need to take to help prevent it or help cure it today. And let's say I am an individual. Let me put a random scientist from history. Let's say Galileo Galilei. And I want to check if person who is existing today, am diagnosed with diabetes or not. So I'm going to put a random email just for this purposes. Gmail.com. I'm going to save this myself. And let's say I'm a perfectly healthy individual and I want to check if I still have diabetes or not. I'm in the ages of 46 to 55, male. I do not consume junk food at all. I drink a fair amount of water. My weight is good for my age. I do not have these issues with diabetes. Do not have hunger frequently. Do not feel thirsty frequently. I might have blurred vision. So I will put that as a maybe. I do not have slow hearing sores, not numbness. I have a fair amount of salary range. I live in the minimum income standard, and I spend about an hour on exercising. And as expected, you would be able to find that this AI has diagnosed yourself with no diabetes. But still, if you want to confirm more, you can check with doctors near you, which I'll open on this side. And you can even get your own health report. So let's first see if I wanted to get doctors near myself. Let's say I live in my own city, Gurgaon, in the state of Haryana, in India. And I can click this button and it uses an API of Google Maps to help locate nearby doctors. It gives you the picture for further reference, the location, the address, the phone number. And if more clarification needed, you can still visit the website and help understand and where you can get diagnosed with diabetes. But later on, if you want to check and download your own report, and this is exactly the reason why I took the email, is that it's one specification ID of yourself, which can identify you as a person. And you can use this from our database to get your and generate your own health report, which is visible over here. Once I click on get my health report, and then you can get your name, your age, gender, all the important data, whether you were diagnosed with diabetes, and a specifically personalized feedback for yourself, in this case, Galileo Galilei, of your age. And if you don't have diabetes, what exactly do you need to see? And you can even download this later on for Galileo. Here is the report downloaded, and you can use this refer later on if you need for your diagnosis. So let's come back to the slide itself. And this was a demo of what Nutrizen was, what Nutrizen is in an AI, and what it can do. But now let's actually see the impacts it had on society and why exactly did I use this AI? Well, out of the 50 people I tried Nutrizen with, 80% surprisingly actually liked it. And this just shows the very fact that we are beginning to trust AI more in our daily life. And the best part is that it had a 90% success rate, showing that even with people who were diagnosed with diabetes themselves, and what I mean by having a 90% success rate here is that people who were diagnosed with diabetes themselves by an actual doctor were also diagnosed with diabetes by the AI Nutrizen in a 90% success rate. And this shows that our AI is beginning to grow and develop gradually on its own, showing that it's actually showing that it's actually reliable, and it can be used further on for further issues of diabetes. Now, in the end of the day, as a researcher and as an AIClub student, I need to be able to reflect and show what I can improve on further on Nutrizen as an AI. And these are just some of the improvements out of the many given by my own friends, my family members, and my teacher at the AIClub Institute to be able to improve on my AI and make it better. And as AI is, it's not a concept, but it's something that grows gradually. And similarly, with diabetes as an issue, Nutrizen is not an AI that stops here, but it grows on developing with your own data and with your own research that you give us to us. And we can use that to further develop such an AI. And some of the improvements you can see listed here are improving the visual appeal, changing pages, making better diets, and even turning it from a website to an application. So together, we can use this AI, improve it, change nutrition, and create an impact onto the world of diabetes. Together, we can solve diabetes. Thank you. Now, please feel free to ask any questions you have, and I'll be willing to take them.
Thank you very much. Shivansh, you can make me the host now and I'll read out some of the questions. So one question is, do you feel that this approach that you took could be applied to other diseases like cholesterol management, other things like that, that are also more about regular health?
I think, ma'am, we can definitely use the same approach. I don't think it'll exactly be the same approach as we had with diabetes, because the form I had used was specifically for diabetes and was made specifically to help diagnose diabetes. But yes, with other diseases themselves, AI can definitely be used. And as we can see, it keeps on growing. The more data you add, the more precise it becomes, and the better the accuracy becomes for the AI itself. So if you make it much more personalized to whatever disease you have, you can use a similar approach to help getting an AI to solve that disease and diagnose that disease.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Shivansh.